Last time we were speaking in Mishnah Sharim about being clean-hearted when it comes to non-kosher foods. Now we're going to move on to sins that arise when you're hanging out with a lot of people. Social sins, right? For example, lashon hara, giving bad advice, humiliating people, verbal abuse, taking revenge, lying, desecrating Hashem's name. Person has to ask himself, I have to be clean. How am I going to be clean from all these things as well? A lot of times we fall to the trap of the Torah that says the bribe blinds the eyes of the wise. And it means that we have intense physical drives because of situations we're in, and that blinds us. Well, you know what they did to me, Rabbi? That's why I spoke to Shara about them. You know what? You know why I took revenge? Because what would you do if you were my son? We get bribed by these emotions, and we don't see clearly anymore because we're all hurt. So therefore, it says Ramchal that we have to be careful not to fall into this type of bribes. And Ramban writes a famous letter, to his son. If you would write a letter to your son, what would you write? It says the Ramban, he took time to write to his son. Always think before you speak. Why does he have to write that? That's obvious. No, it's not obvious. Many people do not have filters. People do not think before they speak. People don't replay in their head. How would it sound if someone said that to me? How would I feel? Nobody does that. It just says Ramban, my son, do it. You have to make sure to do it. To be a tzaddik, you have to think before you speak. And the problem with this is that a lot of times people are very emotional and their emotion clouds their thinking. Says the Rambam, says the Ramchal, Honat dvarim chalala uledaber b'fnei chavero levad sheyevush b'meno kol sheken amira b'fnei rabim davar sheyevush bo o la'asot ma'aseh sheyigrono sheyevush. He says how a person has to be very careful not to harm people, not to embarrass them. The worst part of this whole thing is fine, you hurt me, that I could deal with, but you embarrass me now in front of everybody. You imagine you're sitting all together in the house, a whole Shabbat meal, and you tell the guy, oh, you, how much can you eat already? You already ate the food 4 years in advance. You already ate all the food. How much you ate already? You're so big. You're making fun of me at the table. And you said, listen, okay, you could tell me I have to lose weight, but not in front of everybody else. You embarrass me, it hurts me. Now how are you gonna fix this? Says the Goyim. What do they say? Sticks and stones may break my bones. Words will never hurt me. And the Torah is opposite. The sticks and stones, fine. I could heal myself. I can heal. But the suffering and the embarrassment, how can you heal that? How can you take it back? Right? If a person hurts somebody, you pay them. You pay them for the damages, and that's it. But for lashon hara and for all these things, there's no way to fix it. Everybody already thinks of me in a different way and disrespects me. I lost kavod because of you. How are you going to pay that back? So therefore, a person says, no, it's worse. It's worse to say words like that. Shame and guilt, you have to know, is two different things. Shame is very destructive. Guilt can be constructive, beneficial sometimes. A person feels guilty and it makes them want to change their ways. But shame is I am bad. Guilt is saying I did bad. I should have done better. But shame is I am bad. I'm no good. I'm nothing. So therefore, you destroy the person when you shame him. You make him feel like I was something, now I'm a nothing. Now I'm lower and lower and lower, and you driving him straight into the ground. So therefore, a person has to know it's one of the worst things we could do. And David HaMelech, they were shaming him. What did he say? He said to him, David HaMelech, what's the halacha? Where did the death penalty get for doing adultery? They were hinting to him and Bathsheba. He said, oh, he gets mitat chenek, but you should know that yesh lo chelek l'olam haba. But whoever embarrasses a friend in public, meaning you guys, en lahem chelek l'olam haba. So you see, even adultery, they have chelek l'olam haba, but the guys who speak lashon hara, en lahem chelek l'olam haba. So for a person to know, this is severe stuff, and therefore a person has to know that to be clean in this, number one, things that happen. We know with Yaakov Avinu, right, that Rachel Imenu, right, in the end of the day, how did she get the Mashiach to come? Midrash and the Midrash and Echa says that she said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know how much I wanted to marry Yaakov, and because I didn't want to embarrass my sister, I gave her the signs, and if I forgave my sister for wanting to marry my husband, you can forgive the Jewish people. So the embarrassment in the end of the day is such a big zechut for this that gives us the Geulah, even though we don't deserve it necessarily. So you see how important it is for the negative and for the positive embarrassment. That's what gives us reward, her embarrassment, and protects us, how much more so a person has to avoid it for it to give damage to himself and to his neshama. The Baal Shem Tov was not a fan of those preachers, of those Baalei Musar, who used to be insensitive to people's sufferings, and they used to rebuke them with very harsh sermons. He said, better to turn to Hashem and plead for your people who have suffered so much from this exile. A lot of times people give them musar and they tell them, get up, and you're going to burn, and you're this, what do you think? No, it's not for everybody, the Baal Shem Tov said. So people, they're already from themselves feel like garbage, and you need to pick them up and see the good in them and give them chizuk. Yes, some people who are on a high platter, yes, you need to bring them down a little bit, but some people are already at rock bottom, and you're going to dig his grave alive. So therefore he says you have to know how important it is not to break somebody with their shame. He says, and finally, how to give good advice. What does it say? It says, do not give the blind man bad advice, or don't put a stomach block in front of the blind man. And the Gemara says that means don't give bad advice. You have to give good advice. The classic case is not to help somebody to do a sin. But now, the Rishonim debate over there. What if I put a piece of wood in front of a blind man and he falls? Did I transgress this prohibition? Many Rishonim say no, because this pasuk was never said literally. This pasuk was made only figuratively. But what does it mean figuratively? Don't give bad advice. A person can come to you, should I sell this? You say, yeah, sell it, because I know I'm thinking you're going to buy it. They're going to make money off of it, right? That's where you have to give proper advice. And advice means you have to do as if you're him and not as if you're yourself. You have to go and make sure that a person should not take advantage of other people. And sometimes the Gemara says this person is not knowledgeable. He's coming to you very tamim, very simple-minded, and he's not knowledgeable in this matter, and you're very knowledgeable. And you could see the situation, he doesn't know anything, very easy to take advantage of him. I could just use him I found a sucker. Great, perfect. That's where a person has to know that Hashem sees your heart. And that's where a person says, I pride myself. I have a chista heart. I have a clean heart. I have a good heart. This is where you prove yourself. When you find a sucker and you say, no, you know what? I want to help him, because if I was him, how would I want to be treated? If I was him, what advice would I want to give to me? So therefore, a person has to know that the misleading advice is very, very key. And a lot of times, people should not give advice. If you're not fit for the situation, don't give advice. Some situations I see that this couple is not fixable through me. I tell them, listen, you guys need a professional. I can't help you. I don't want to say something I don't know. One of the best things a person could say sometimes is, I don't know. Be humble and say, I don't know. A person thinks sometimes, I know everything. I'll sit up and I'll come up with something right now on the spot. Person has to know that's also sometimes giving bad advice. The last thing is that we spoke about many times, that the Chafetz Chaim devoted his whole life against speaking Lashon Hara. And one of the things the Torah says is Zechor Miriam. Right? The Torah says you have to remember what happened to Miriam when we left Egypt. Miriam was, we know, obviously she had good intentions to talk about how Moshe left his wife, and she wanted to make Shalom Bayit. She wanted him to be with his wife. And even though it was all for his benefit, and she loved him, she stood by the river to see what's going to happen to him. Her whole life, she was thinking about Moshe for his benefit, and still the Torah says that Hashem embarrassed her and made the whole camp wait. Why is the whole camp waiting? We can't go yet. But why? Sukkot, we're all ready. No, we're waiting for one person. Who's not ready? Miriam. What happened to her? Pes. Pes. She got Tzaran. What? She spoke Lashon Hara? Yeah, she spoke Lashon Hara. And the whole Jewish people had to know about this. Why? Because even though she meant it for the best, that mother-in-law who comes, or the sister-in-law who comes, you're pregnant, Shtoli? Right? Well, what is this? She says, no, I'm not pregnant. What is it? So, no, you gotta lose weight. What's wrong with you? Tell your wife, she's a karova. What's going on with her? Right? So she thinks that I'm doing it for what? I'm saying the truth. I want to help. If nobody's gonna say nothing, you're gonna become a balloon, right? And she thinks she's doing well, but she's embarrassing her in front of public. She's saying Lashon Hara, just like Miriam. She did it for the toilet, for a good purpose. And even so, the Torah says, never forget what happened to Miriam. I took you out of Egypt. You have to remember, I took you out of Egypt to be Am Yisrael Achdut. There's a way, and there's a how, and there's a when, and all these things a person has to think, the filter before you speak. Baruch